Well, Cam, welcome to the program. Thank you, as always, for your time. And it looks pretty good in the background there. It sort of looks like it's drying out for you. Are things on the improve?
Well, we're hoping it's going to get warmer by the end of this week. The forecast has been just gloomy up until now. As you can see behind me, a lot of grey. It's been pretty cold, so we're hanging out for some warmer weather. There's a few irrigators rotating in the area now, so I think, signs are looking good.
Now, of course, you were Mid-Canterbury's president for Federated Farmers, then moved over to the He Waka Eke Noa steering group. It's been an extraordinarily interesting ride, really, hasn't it? What are your feelings on the announcement last week?
Yeah, look, it's been a tough road over the last 2 years to get to where we got to back in May. You know, submitting some recommendations to government on where we think pricing should sit for it to be fair and equitable to all farmers. And as most people have seen last week, what the government came back to us with was a little scary. Well, quite scary actually. You know, when you're looking at wiping out 20% of one of our pastoral sectors, it's pretty hard to think you've done a good job when you see figures like that. So, look, I can completely understand and feel it myself, the reaction from last week and what it might mean for farmers over the next 8 to 10 years.
So, Cameron, did you get any sort of indication as a member of the steering committee at He Waka Eke Noa that this was coming?
A little bit. We had some warning, 24 hours warning before it came out to kind of gather our thoughts and work out what was our response going to be. And arguably, if you kind of split it, you know, I guess being someone who's worked in the background, I've had the chance to work right through what the government's proposed and all the modelling and everything that's gone into some of the numbers that came out last week. And really there's sort of two halves to it. The first is the modelling, which is really what everyone's reacting to. That's where it's showing that, you know, if we implement this system, that it's going to really devastate some of our agricultural sectors. And when you look into the background of it, actually, the government's done a pretty poor job of modelling. There's some assumptions that they've made that, because they haven't had the agricultural sector involved, has really, I think, done themselves a disservice on the modelling. So, look, I wouldn't pay any attention really to the numbers I've come out with, because I just think they're so grossly wrong and based on poor data. On the policy side, so the other half is what is the policy settings that the government's recommending? Arguably, they've actually given agriculture most of what they asked for in that scenario. And there's a few tweaks, major tweaks actually, that we do need to make, I think, before any of the partners would feel happy about accepting any of those recommendations. But the modelling really has overshadowed that conversation. So it's a real shame. I think, to be honest, the government might have ended up with a better reaction having not done any modelling at all, rather than what they did. So, yeah, I'm hoping that once the emotional reaction is sort of subdued a wee bit, and we can have a reasoned conversation about fixing some of their numbers and their policy, that we might be able to work towards something that we could potentially live with. But it's, I can completely understand the reactions. The modelling that we've seen has just been horrendous. So it's a bit of work yet to go on this thing.
So what happens? Obviously the He Waka Eke Noa group still meeting and working through what can be done in this consultation period. Yeah,
look, the partners at this stage are still keen to push back as one body where they can. We've seen that we have a bigger influence when we act together. That's not going to stop individual partners, and particularly federated farmers, having their own say as well. So, you know, we're trying to every avenue we can to try and get the change that's required to this program. So I think you'll see both the partnership and individual partners coming out pretty strongly to really fix the gaps that we see in this.
Can you see progress in 6 weeks though? It's pretty short time frame, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. Look, the government's rightly or wrongly working from the election date next year. They've worked backwards from when it needs to be in law. It's meant that we've got a very short consultation period, which none of us were really happy about. But yeah, it is what it is. So we certainly will be trying as much as we can in those 6 weeks and beyond. I mean, that's the official consultation period. As you know, He Waka partners have been working with government for a lot longer, and we will continue pushing behind the scenes as well. So it'll be an ongoing, it's not just the next 6 weeks, you're still talking at least another year, 18 months. And if this thing does go ahead, I mean, we'll be working in the background right up until start date in 2025 to make sure it's something that is really fit for purpose.